going to be talking about Geo Farm Domination. Let me get Haas. What's up, dude?
What's up, Tristan?
There you are. Nice to
buddy.
see you. Where you at, man?
Man, I'm at a hotel in Fort Lauderdale. I've been trying to get out of here for like the last day and a half, but all my flights keep getting canceled. So you know the story.
I know. Where do you call home?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. All right. So you're our only one that is central. We have like Pacific, Mountain. You're now central. We have Eastern coming up in a little bit. So very cool, man. All right, Haas, Geo Farm Domination. You obviously use REDX. How long have you been doing this, the geo farming thing?
Man, you know what? I have like, what do we have, 30 minutes?
We got about 30. I'm probably like 25, 26. So you want to speed right through it?
Yeah, I have like 40 slides to cover.
Oh, let's go, man.
Can we just go?
Let's go.
Can we do that?
I love that. That's even better. People will be like, oh, and then they have to slow down on the recording. So this is recorded. So yeah, you just go.
Let's go. So I'm going to share my screen, man. I got like a bunch of slides I'm going to show y'all. I'm down here in Miami. There you go. Can y'all see this?
I love it.
It's funny. I was down here doing a training yesterday, and the training was how to list homes in a low inventory market. And I flipped the script and I changed it at the last minute because we're going into a shifting market. And like, since the time that the seminar was booked to today, I'm like, man, we got to we're going to this shifting market. And so that's what I want everybody to see is the market shifting, the market's changing, and Geo Farm Domination is the key to go out there to find a niche. So get your pen and paper. I'm just going to go fast. I got a lot to cover. Tristan, you can hold me accountable on the time. Okay.
Heck yeah, dude.
So let's go. This is what we're going to cover today. I'm going to show you how to dominate a geographical area, how to identify the best farm that's going to produce the best results. I'm going to show you how to become an authority in any neighborhood, create an unlimited network of customers, find motivated sellers and buyers, and how to find homes for your buyers before they hit the MLS. I believe that's going to be the key and the most effective scripts. I'm going to give you some scripts to use on what to say, give you those words, and then the campaigns to close and nurture prospects, plus a lot more. So here's the deal in a shifting market. The last couple of years it's been challenging for a lot of people. We're going into a market that is made for the prospectors. So for you REDX customers, this market is what you've been waiting for, because in a shifting market, we have to control our inventory. We got to expand our target market and focus on dominating niches. And I want to also talk about how geo farming is big and easy. You can go into any market, you can dominate it if you know what to say and you have the right approach. It's going to allow us to find sellers for our buyers, find buyers for the sellers, beat the low inventory struggle in the short term, and then double in more deals, grow our database. Y'all need to be focused on growing your database. Geo Farm is a great way to do that by finding those target markets and finding the sellers that want to list right now. And here's the thing. We want to be able to go after niches that generate an endless supply of leads. But I want to ask you a question. I was just out at REDX in Provo, and this question came up. Like we were talking about this. There's two different types of markets. There's met versus haven't met. So I want to ask y'all a question. And you can type it in. I believe I could see everybody's chat. But would you rather go after the met database or the haven't met database? And just type it in the question box or the chat. Let me just see what everybody says. Where are we at? Would you rather go after the met versus the haven't met? Which one would you rather go after? Man, we got all these swag comments. Met, right? You see this? Mets, haven't met. I love this, Tristan, because it's like real time. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives us this data. So here's the thing. In a shifting market, you got to be diversified. You got to focus. Some of you would rather go after the Mets. Some of you would rather go after the haven't mets. What we've got to be able to do is we have to be able to go after both. What about this question? What about, are you a grinder? Let me get my slide moving here. Are you a grinder or a nurturer? You see this? Yeah, I find some people are grinders. Some people are nurturers. Yeah. What do y'all, just type it in. Are you a grinder or a nurturer? Both, grind, nurture. So you nurturers got to become grinders. You grinders
Yeah.
need to become nurturers. This is going to be key in a shifting market. And when we go after geo leads, it's going to allow us to do that. What about listings versus buyers? I know everybody wants listings. That's why I wrote a book called Listing Boss, because one thing all real estate agents want is they want more signs in the ground. And that's smart, because that's why I love REDX, because they provide data to niches that 100% of the niche want to sell. You want to go after niches that 100% of the niche want to sell, or go after niches that 100% of the niche need your help. And that's why you need to have a lead provider like REDX, because we don't need leads. We need data. Shape your mind. We don't want leads. We want data. And so what do we got to do to go after a geo farm in this type of market? Here's what I find. I've been in real estate for 20 years. And when I got into real estate, it was always the same thing. Find a neighborhood, farm the neighborhood, mail a monthly postcard. Like, I don't believe that's the best way to do it, y'all. I find that, that's the most common form of farming. But like when we do that, we're spending money to get people to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in selling their home. It cost us money. So a better strategy is following this principle, the Pareto 80-20 principle. In every neighborhood, there's 20% of the homeowners in that neighborhood that we're looking for. The ones that want to sell will be selling in the near future. So if we can identify these 20% in multiple neighborhoods instead of 100% of one neighborhood, that's how we maximize our time. If we can focus on the 20%, not the 80%, it allows us to hold every dollar accountable. I remember, like, for me, it was, I spent $50,000 my first 6 months in real estate, doing it the wrong way, going after everybody. And it costs us so much money. What we want to do is we want to go after multiple neighborhoods. So instead, what if we had, instead of one neighborhood that had 2,000 homes, we went after 5 neighborhoods that we identified the 20% in, and we could identify those people. So for example, if they, and every market's different, but I'll help you identify these target markets. But if they've owned their home a minimum of 7 years, if a neighborhood isn't dominated by a specific particular agent, what are we looking for? Here's what we're looking for. We want to know the homes listed to homes sold ratio in every neighborhood. We want a neighborhood that turns, a neighborhood that isn't dominated by one particular agent. In a particular time frame, typically that's 5 to 7 years. I'm not going to go after a neighborhood or a homeowner that's just bought the home last year. So we want to identify that. That's why I like geo leads with REDX, because it tells us this information. We want to have a turnover rate of at least 6%, and we want to play the numbers game. So we need 500 to 2,500 homes in this system. So what we need the data. And the data is the most important thing. We need all the data we can get. And that's why you want to use REDX. It's a proven data source. They're going to give you in every neighborhood all of this information. And this is what we do with it. Not only do they give you that, but they give you the FSBOs, the expires, the probates, the pre-foreclosures, all the names and emails and cell phones. I remember this. I remember when I first got in real estate, I said I blew $50,000 my first 6 months in real estate. Well, what happened was one day I went to the office and there was this top agent in there, and he was a young kid. I was young. I was in my early 20s. And I said, what are you doing to get all these listings? And he goes, you ever heard of REDX? I'm like, no, what's REDX? He goes, they send you all the leads every day of the FSBOs and the expireds. And, I've never heard of anything like this. And so I went and I got the service. And that day I took my first listing. The second day I took my second listing. 30 days later, I had 30 listings. I finished my first year at 8 million in sales, rookie of the year, and 100% of them were listings. I never worked a buyer in my life. So here's why I tell you that story. Some of you are at a place that you're struggling. You're at a place that you're maybe not getting the results that you want. And I want you to know that you can turn everything around today. You don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to wait a year. You simply need the right niche and the right data targeting that niche. And so what I did is you can go to haasleads.com. I know you guys put up a link here, Tristan, for the leads I saw, but what I told REDX is I said, anybody that signs up for REDX service, I'm going to put some skin in the game, and I'm going to give you some some tools. I'm going to give you 20 live prospecting calls of me calling live prospects, taking them from hanging up on me to setting the listing appointment. I'm going to give you 29 scripts that work like magic in this shifting market to help you get the words to say. And I'm also going to give you some other tools as well. So if you go to hossleads.com, I'm going to just give that stuff to you for free, because I'm going to help you turn these leads into money, help you connect with homeowners, help you know what to say. Because here's the deal. In that neighborhood, in that Geo farm, you have three types of people. You have now sellers. And here's the thing about now sellers. Right now, actually a month and a half ago was the greatest time in the history of real estate to sell a house. Every day a seller is not on the market, it's costing them equity. In the next 90 days, as interest rates go up, as inflation goes up, this 90-day period, that you have a 90-day window to dominate listings in your market and all around the country. So because it's costing them equity when they're not on the market. So you want to come to this market with urgency. You want to come to the market by creating urgency and have a message. I believe the future sellers need to sell now. I believe anybody that's going to be selling in the next 2 years need to sell right now. And that's the message that you want to deliver. And then you obviously have the never sellers. So let me help you choose your message. And I know I'm going fast, but man, I always go fast. I want to leave everybody better than I found you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to leave anything out, right? Tristan, you know, like we got, you know, with our time together, I want to equip you with everything you need to be able to go out there and take massive action. So in our message to that market, we have just listed. So if you just listed a home in the neighborhood, what to say. If you just sold a home in the neighborhood, if you're doing an open house, if you don't have any of those reasons, you always create a reason. There's always a reason to call. Like, I would call those people with the message of right now is the greatest time to sell. Every day we don't's costing you equity. And that would be the message that I would hit people with. Or you have a motivated buyer in the neighborhood. So here's how we convert the homeowners. Let me give you some words to say. Let's say it's a just sold. You would say, hey, this is Hoss Pratt. You probably noticed that we just sold the home on 123 Main Street. It sold so fast. I currently have 3 buyers, and one is, you know, looking to buy tomorrow. And I was curious if you're looking to make a move, or do you have any neighbors that are looking to sell? So this would be the beginning of a script. Let's say if it's a just listed, you would say, hey, this is Hoss Pratt. The reason I'm calling is because we just listed the home down the street from you at 123 Main Street. Are you familiar with the house? Okay, great. So I was calling because I wanted to give you the first opportunity to pick your new neighbor. So my question is do you know anyone, or have you talked to anyone that has expressed any interest in moving to the neighborhood, like any friends, family, business associates that you can think of? And based on what they say, they're going to say yay or nay. Let's say if they say yes. Okay, well, let me do this then. Let me get their name and number. I'm going to give you a quick call to see if they want to take a quick private showing to see the home before anyone else. I'm sure that you'll appreciate you appreciate looking out for you. What is their first name and last name and number? And by the way, y'all take a picture of this stuff, because I know I'm going quick, but I want to give you these words. What if they say no? You say, okay, great. Well, let me do this then, because it never fails. As soon as I hang up from a call like this, someone will come to mind. Let me give you my name and number so you'll have it handy if somebody comes to mind. You ready? It's Hoss Pratt at 123, or the phone number. And here's what happens. Open houses are something that we haven't been doing in the last few years because we haven't had to. This is going to be a great way for you, especially like you agents that are looking for ways to generate leads. I believe that you should all be doing open houses. You should all, you know, if it's not your listing, borrow a listing. There's always a listing to hold open. So you would call this neighborhood, you'd get the leads in Geo Farm, and you would say, hey, this is Hoss Pratt. You probably noticed we put a for sale sign in front of the home at 123 Main Street. We're actually having an open house on Saturday, and I would like for you to invite you to come take a look at the home. You also have an amazing opportunity to select your new neighbors if you have any friends, family, coworkers that you want to move into the area. So please bring them with you. So once we set up that script, depending on what they say, you say this, you say, and before I let you go, let me ask you this. One of the things that happens when we sell a home is that we inevitably have a buyer, several buyers that wanted to buy a home in the neighborhood, but someone either beat them to it or they offered more money for the home. Now, because we have an 89-point marketing plan that works like magic in getting homes sold fastest, most amount of money, it also generates a lot of buyers for our sellers. And because we're only looking for one buyer, we typically have a lot of buyers extra buyers that are looking to move to the neighborhood. So my question is this: if we had a buyer who wanted to purchase your home, they're willing to write a healthy offer, of course, would you ever consider selling your home if the opportunity presented itself? Here's what we're doing. We are simply digging. We're detectives. We're asking questions. We're looking for prospects. And this is what we need to be doing more of. And not only do we need to be doing more of that, but we also need to be coming to that market with massive urgency, because every person that you're going to be talking to, if they have any interest in selling, they need to sell now. And I'm going to move on for time, but you can see this. There's a Geo Farm script that I will give everybody. I will give this to you on a one sheet for everybody that goes to haasleads.com. When you get REDX, I want to equip you with all the tools that you need, and I'll give you the script and the words to say. But here's what happened. You like that?
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
But here's the deal. We want to use everything as a listing tool too. And I believe that you need to have leads on campaigns. The reason that agents don't prospect is they don't have leads on campaigns. Like, I'm not just going to call this neighborhood one time. I'm going to put them on a campaign, and I'm going to stay in touch. I'm going to and take a picture of this. I'm going to have a short-term campaign where I'm going to leverage calling, emailing, texting to be able to build that relationship, because 80% of sales happen on the 5th to 12th contact. What's going to happen when you make that first contact? You're planting the seed. When that seed is planted, I mean, they may be sitting there at dinner tonight and they're sitting there talking to their husband. Hey, I got a phone call from Tristan. He was asking if we were wanting to sell. He said, if in the next 2 years, if we want to sell, now's the time, because the market's shifting. We're going into a shifting market. So you want to have a long-term campaign and a short-term campaign. When I show you this, I want a light bulb to go off. I want you to see how it's day 0, do this, day 0, do this, day 30, do this, day 60, do this. No matter what niche you're going after, FSBOs, expireds, for rent by owners, Geo, every one of those target markets need to be on a campaign similar to this. Now, the time frame would be different, but this is what you got to show up for, because you need to build a system that you show up for. The reason that people don't prospect is they don't know who to call. They don't know who to call because they don't have leads on campaigns. Is this true? So we need a CRM.
100%, man. 100%. Sorry, I was muted there, but you're
No,
so
you're
right.
good.
People don't know who to call. That's like more than half the battle.
Because they don't have a CRM, which is a hub of operations. What you want is you want a campaign for any niche you go after. And I've helped thousands of agents with this, with REDX leads. It works. I mean, I was just in a seminar yesterday. I had an 18-year-old that took 7 listings. I had a part-time agent that set 7 listings in like 10 minutes using what I'm showing you. Like, the key is having leads on campaigns, because you don't manage people. In fact, you can't manage yourself. Like the habit guy that before I was sitting there listening to him, man, I love that, you know, the whole brew and poo. I was like, man, y'all better trademark that. You know, I think that's on Shark Tank someday. You know, but to create a habit, you got to do it every day, you know, and 9 to noon is the key. So like, you want to do your money-making activities from 9 to noon, because nothing in real estate happens until noon anyway. And you're a maker in the morning, you're a manager in the afternoon, and that's what you want to show up for. And to the level at which you do that, it will become a habit. And this is the key. You want to sweat on your farm. So if you really want to dominate a farm, you need to do open houses in it. The neighbors need to see you in it, from door knocking the neighborhood, doing neighborhood events. Sweating on your farm is key. And here's the other thing, and I'll wrap it up, and I don't know if we want to do some questions, but here's the great thing about, and Tristan, you're amazing at this, like the social media stuff. And like, you can take that data that REDX gives you, you can upload it into Facebook, you can create a targeted campaign, and you can hit them digitally. It's called digital farming. So not only are we hitting them in the phone, hitting them in the text messages, hitting in their inbox, but we're also dominating on the social side. Like not only your farm, but even your database. Like, you want to be able to, for anybody you're targeting, you want them to see, because it's about an impression. Well, if they see your face and they see your message on a scroll on Facebook, it's an impression. Even if they don't click the link, you're still going to be able to, it's still going to help you convert whenever you speak to them over the phone. So digital farming from Facebook ads, creating a Facebook group. There's other apps that you can use as well. Putting an offer in front of them is something that if you really want to dominate the Geo farm, you want to do all of these things. And we want to come from value. We want to give. And here's the deal. We want to run this thing as a system. Nothing works if you don't run it as a system. You have to do it every day. Daily prospecting from 8 o'clock to noon, 8 to 9, you're importing leads. So 8 to 9 is the getting ready to get ready. You're taking the REDX leads, you're putting them into your CRM. And then at 9 o'clock, it's smiling and dialing for dollars. Bringing to that call a sense of urgency. Every lead that REDX gives you needs to list their home right now. I couldn't tell you be more strong in that opinion. Like you want to crank up your urgency. You don't want them to wait a month, man. Waiting a month is going to cost them tons of money. And that urgency, you want to create the problem that they didn't know that they had, because they don't know what I just told you. And you want to be able to go out there and you want to be able to do it. And here's the last part, man. You just got to take action. Just get in the trenches, get in the game. There's nothing more important to real estate sales than prospecting and lead generation. This is a prospecting and lead generation business. It's crucial that you dominate and focus on niches, because you can become an expert in a niche. It gives you an abundance amount of people to call. It gives you control of your business. We don't want to wait for the ship to come to us. We want to swim out to the ship. We don't want to wait for the phone to ring with referrals. We want to go create the now business. And that mindset shift is important. It allows you to take more control. And lastly, I'll wrap up with this. Everything is a listing tool. If I'm on a listing appointment, one of the things that I do is I'm going to tell that seller, I'm going to reach out. We have an aggressive outreach program where we're going to contact every single one of the people in this neighborhood. And oftentimes we're able to find the buyer even before anybody else based on that. And so you want to think of listing tools. And the Geo Farm Domination is a listing tool. I would do it for just the listing tool alone to separate myself from my competition. So with that, y'all, I hope this helps you today. You can go to right here, haasleads.com. If you don't have REDX, get REDX. I look at REDX like the fuel. Let's say the vehicle is the CRM, the campaigns. You're the driver of the vehicle. REDX is the fuel. You can't drive the vehicle without fuel. We need to fill the vehicle with fuel. You drive the vehicle. You do what it tells you to do. And that right there, y'all, it is hard to fail if you take massive action. So thank y'all for having me, Tristan.